The problem with the built-in registration page provided by ASP.NET Core Identity API is that it contains a lot of tags and bootstrap attributes that make it time-consuming to integrate it into a project that doesn't use Bootstrap or jQuery. The objective of this article is to explain how to create a neat and simple registration page that can be styled with any CSS and JavaScript of choice. We use a simple HTML table to create a form, but we will not use any CSS and client-side validation because that can always be done with the web designer teams. First, we have to make a few additional configuration to the program.cs file. So let's begin by opening the program.cs file. Recall from the first tutorial of this series that we have already added services for identity, and also notice that we have set a required confirmed account option to true, which means that we will also have to integrate an email or SMS based confirmation to a newly registered user. This is similar to what you see on various websites these days. Also recall that we have added options for the authentication cookie when we specified the login and access denied paths. Now we shall add identity options for password, lockout, and user settings. Password settings are used to specify various restrictions on a password. Lockout settings are used to set various lockout parameters, and as we can see, the user settings are used to configure various restrictions on user ID or names. Next, we have to add a register page. Open the Solution Explorer and locate the folder for auth area. And right-click the Pages folder to add a razor page called Register. Let us examine the register.cs HTML markup file. First, we have the various directives for page, model, and add tag helper. Then we have a tag for presenting a validation summary of various model errors. A table tag has been used to create the form. The first TR is for the user ID. This element is connected to a property called user ID. The next TR is for the phone number. A phone number could be used for two-step authentication later on. It could even have been omitted also. It could have been set optional also. We will see that it can be set optional in the bind property attribute. It is bound to a property called user phone. Then we have a TR for password, which is connected to a property called user password. The next TR is for the confirm password. Notice that we haven't used any client-side validations because they can always be added by the web designer teams. And lastly, we have the submit button. The form shows the bare minimum HTML required for creating a registration form. It can be styled with any CSS, but that is out of the scope of this tutorial. Now let us examine the programming side. Open the backing class for this markup page. This is the register.cs html.cs file, and it contains the register model class. First, we have the various namespace directives. The class has been marked as allow anonymous so that the page is publicly available for anyone to register on our website. First, we have a bind property for user ID. Then we have a property for the phone number. We have used a regular expression for phone number of exactly 10 digits, and it can be customized for the needs and formats of any country. Similarly, we have the properties for password and confirm password. We have used constructor-based dependency injection to obtain the user manager service, which is one of the services that the Identity API provides us for performing user-related actions like registration and login. The instance has been cached as a read-only member _um. The onPost async method executes when the user submits and posts the form. An identity user has been created on the basis of data entered by the user. The user is registered with a call to the create async method of the user manager instance. Notice that the entire work has been done by this single call. It handles all the database communication for us. The return value can be examined for success. If the method doesn't succeed, the errors are added to the validation summary. These errors are like a user already exists and like that. And if the method succeeds, we need to add a further code for email confirmation because we have configured required confirmed account in the program.cs file. We shall do that in the next tutorial, but for now, we have temporarily added a success message to the validation summary. This is obviously against the rules, but we have done it so that we know that we have succeeded, and this will be removed in the next tutorial. Run the project to open the home page of our website. Click the link to attempt a visit to the restricted page. We are redirected to the login page. Now click the link to register and enter any data. Enter a simple password such as 123 and click submit. As expected, this password fails validation because we configured strict requirements in our program.cs file. Next, enter a complex password and hit the create button. The registration succeeds. And finally, we should verify the creation by examining the users table in our SQL Server database. Open SQL Server Object Explorer and locate the database myAuthDB. Locate the table ASPNET users and right-click to view the data. As you can see, we are able to verify that the user has indeed been created. In the next tutorial, we shall add code for email-based verification of the user. Thanks.